We're going to talk about cricket, and this is about cricket administration because in that annual general meeting of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, we now have a new boss, a new president in Roger Binny. Binny is going to be replacing Sourav Ganguly. And meanwhile, Shah, the Secretary, and Rajeev Shukla as the Vice President continue in their positions. The board, the BCCI, has also officially given its nod to the women's IPL. My colleague Karishma has filed this report earlier today.
Well, yes, absolutely. This is going to be the new core team of the BCCI with Roger Binny, former 1983 World Cup winning team member, at the helm of affairs, with Shah as the secretary, Mr. Rajeev Shukla as the vice president of the BCCI, Ashish Shelar as the new treasurer of the BCCI, and Arun Dhumal appointed to the IPL governing council as well. So this is going to be the new team of the BCCI, and one of the major significant developments that we can talk about is obviously the women's IPL that has been approved by the BCCI today in its annual general meeting. And next year, 2023, is going to be the year of women's IPL, when we will see a league for women cricketers in India on the basis, on the principle of the Indian Premier League. So that is one of the biggest developments coming in from this annual general meeting, and this is going to be a priority project for the new president of the BCCI, Mr. Roger Binny.
All right, so that's the report that was filed, but let's get perspective on it from veteran journalist and author Partab Ramchand. Great to have you with us, sir. Do tell us, in terms of working styles, that of Sourav Ganguly and Roger Binny, what exactly do you see as far as perception goes, and in terms of clear working styles? Because Sourav Ganguly was sometimes referred to as very high-handed, and he was very active in the selection process. How different is Roger Binny likely to be?
Well, certainly he comes in with a lot of qualifications, experience and credentials. And he started by saying the right things. I just saw the report of his first meeting with the media. And I like the way he touched upon the growing number of injuries, and he's caused it a concern. It certainly is. The growing number of injuries, the amount of cricket being played now, even with the row of doctors and support staff that the BCCI has, the cricketers about to get injured. So it's good that Roger has his priorities right. And I also saw that he has something about domestic pitches, which is also another good thing, because domestic pitches certainly can do with better surfaces. And he's talked about that. So he, as I said, he's got the experience, the credentials and the qualifications to take over. And I think we should give him a fair chance to try and succeed.
A fair chance is definitely what Roger Binny is going to get right at the get-go, Mr. Ramchand. But do tell us, from what we've heard about Roger Binny, he's known to speak his mind but not quite rock the boat. So as a cricketer who has turned into an administrator, he's part of a power panel at the helm of BCCI, and it's dominated by politicians. In fact, recently Ravi Shastri was all praises for how politicians make the best administrators. Most of this panel has close ties with the ruling dispensation. So I'm just wondering if you believe that Roger Binny can hold his own and push through crucial reforms.
Yes, I think he can, because I've known him for some time, and as far as I know him, he's a man of his word. He speaks his mind, and when he makes up his mind, he tries to see that the reforms are carried through, and I have no doubt that he will succeed, despite the fact that, in the BCCI, you need a bit of luck, a bit of maneuvering, you need so many things when you're heading the BCCI or part of BCCI. But Roger has it in him, I think, to push through his reforms, and as I said, he's a man of his word, and very, very open-minded. And he's also one who will listen to advice. He'll listen to suggestions. He's not a dictatorial kind of person. So certainly, as I said, he should be given the chance to succeed.
Yes, but it is going to be a tough balancing act, and you'd have to agree that it's not the easiest position to be in. Even as Roger Binny steps in as the president of the BCCI, it has been decided that the men in blue will not head to Pakistan for the Asia Cup. So this, among the many other tasks that Roger Binny has to take on, because already on the table would be many big reforms like women's cricket and domestic salaries for women cricketers. All of that is on the table. In terms of the priorities that he would have, what would you say they would be?
Yeah, he's taken over at a very, very crucial time. There's no doubt about it. As you mentioned very rightly, there are a lot of things on the agenda, on the anvil. And as I said, regarding his priorities, he's spelled out one top priority right now. That's the growing number of injuries to the players, which is the correct thing to go about, and that's what is a matter of concern. And it's good that he spelled that out. But the other things you mentioned, yes, certainly there's a balancing act. That's what you said, and certainly he'll have to have that balancing act. But that's and true of every BCCI official who comes in. He comes in with certain ideas and comes in with certain things that he wants to do. But then when you are part of the the officialdom, so to say, you also have to have a balancing act. But there again, as I said, I think Roger is the correct man right now.
And Sourav Ganguly, as opposed to many perceptions, didn't quite continue in that hot seat. As far as his stint is concerned and what he came in to do and change perhaps, what do you think have been his strongest achievements, and why have we not seen him continue in that position?
Well, he certainly didn't walk the talk, I can tell you, because when he came in 2, 3 years ago, he also came in with a lot of ideas, and given his stature as one of India's most successful captains, and certainly people expected a lot of him. And here, in fact, I want to touch on a very vital aspect, which is hardly ever touched upon in cricket. Why do people have this obsession that former cricketers have to come in? I mean, former cricketers, being a cricketer, you can bowl a well-disguised googly, you can play an elegant cover drive, but for administration, for coaching, for media, you need certain other special qualifications, which not every cricketer has. So why this obsession, first of all, with cricketers must come in and take over the top post? If you ask me, in my long journalistic career, the best administrators I have come across are, people like Sriraman and Chidambaram and Timapaya and Chinnaswamy and Dalmia, of course. We all know what he did for Indian cricket. And of course, when you go back, you got to go back to Anthony De Mello, who was such a dynamic person. So I think this obsession with having former cricketers of stature, so to say, should end. And it's not not every cricketer can readily step into administration, coaching, or the media.
Do you think then that a former cricketer can take over at the helm of affairs at the ICC next? Because Sourav Ganguly, perhaps that position could be open for him. Do you still think he has a chance?
Well, that's much later, I think. Just now, he's just served out his post, and from what I hear, he's angling for the CAP president, return to the Cricket Association of Bengal. I suppose he will be angling certainly for a post in the ICC. He certainly is. You have certainly not heard the last of Sourav Ganguly, the administrator. I'm sure much more we heard about him in future. And yes, why not? The ICC thing is there, but it will be later.
Not as of now, according to you. Thanks very much, Mr. Ramchand, for joining us with your perspective on the new BCCI president, Roger Binny, and what we can expect, what could be on his agenda. And of course, it's a big shift coming in from the way the BCCI was run by Sourav Ganguly. And what next for Sourav Ganguly? It could be the ICC. And like Mr. Ramchand says, we haven't heard the last of him when it comes to Sourav, the administrator.